Hi there. So in this video I'm going to be talking about the technique of the pre-nut bend, where it's used within music, some sort of examples of it, how you can practice and develop the technique, and sort of where you can apply it, and sort of different levels of complexity to which you can apply it to. So in summary, the pre-nut bend is just shifting the pitch of the note that you're playing up or down, depending on if you're pressing down or releasing. When you press down or release the string at the headstock before the nut of the guitar. So one really famous place where this is used is in the intro to Black Sabbath's Iron Man. So it's so yeah, that's sort of, probably the most famous use of that particular technique ever. The reason I like to talk about this technique is because on this guitar, which is a Wiltshire Phantomatic, it's got a fixed bridge, so there's no whammy bar. So everything that you could do with the whammy bar, you can't do. So everything you can do with pre-nut bends, you can do in theory with a whammy bar. But this is talking how to apply it to instruments which don't have the hardware to sort of support that. So the sort of practice and development for it is what I've done is just every day that I sit down and practice, just spend 5 minutes playing around with how each string behaves when you push at different tensions and at different places within the string. So for instance, I know that if it's right next to the tuning bolt, there's quite a small gap for me to push. So it'll go from E to F in this case quite quickly, and you can't really hear the microtones in between. Whereas right next to the nut, there's a lot more space underneath the actual string. So there's a lot wider range of microtones between. I mean, it's not a difficult technique to perform, it's very simple, but the sort of elegance in it is getting it right and making sure that you're either hitting the note that you want or you're using the movement between the notes correctly. So it's very much about precision and control of your instrument and the way that you play it. So I've come up with just a few really short sections of music, so like a really beginner version for this, which you can use in, say, like quite a metal setting, would be the classic, but instead of just going between the notes, you can and that just adds this ebb and flow and rise, and it also adds this nice dramatic tension to it. From that, you can also use it to sort of pitch shift and modulate the key within a piece of music. So if you're playing mostly an E and then you need to shift it to an F, so you're playing with another guitarist, you can, and it just has a certain sound that just shifting, it's just slightly different, and in the context of, say, a doom metal track, it would work quite well. A sort of more complex way of putting it would just, be more interesting with your left hand, do a little bit more, and just use that to change how the rest of what you're playing sounds. So again, just a really simple something. And it allows you to resolve notes like that quite nicely. And then sort of more advanced technique, you could say, or sort of more advanced application of the technique, would be the use of harmonics at the same time, natural harmonics. So you play the harmonic and you change the pitch of the harmonic, which again you either do with the whammy bar or like this, and it's quite an unnatural sound, so you can use it in quite a melodic way. So this would be good for sort of either lead lines, melody lines, or just making your like rhythm section more interesting. So further from this, you can also, use sound effects and more like accent pieces. Say if you're not necessarily playing a section and you're just adding, especially in like horror sort of genres, or if you're thinking like horror film soundtracks, things like that, you've got that classic Alfred Hitchcock infinitely rising pitch, which again, if you were to just say play a 7th fret harmonic on the B string and just, again, it's eerie sounds that you can just add and pepper into your music. Again, these things could be added into solo sections as well. If you were to take sort of E harmonic minor and add that into there somewhere, it'll gel with everything else that you're playing, but does add a certain intonation to the rest of it that gives it the feel that you're after. So yeah, that's sort of a very brief overview of what the technique is, how you can practice it, develop it, where you'd need to sort of look out for in the practice and development, and a few examples of where it could be used. Thank you.